When you're thinking of buying a farm, one of the key things you need to actually decide on is the location of the farm you're looking at. Is it that you've grown up in the area and you want to carry on farming near to your family? Are you thinking of relocating entirely? And then you're thinking of the actual area that you're moving to. Is it the right kind of soil for the crops you're thinking of growing? Is it actually a predominantly hill farming area? So location is key. The second main point to think about is how you're going to finance your purchase of the farm. For some people, they're able to finance it with their cash, either from a sale of some land or from some cash reserves, or alternatively be looking for some form of finance. So you'll be looking for mortgage finance or some other form of loan. Loans can be either to the business if you're running a farming business, either as a company or a partnership, but you might be a sole trader, so in that case it will be a personal liability loan for the purposes of your business. When you're buying a farm, unfortunately there are not really any grants available these days. Previously there has been some government funding or potentially from Europe, but now it's really a case of finding your own personal finance for the purchase of the farm. Once you're up and running, there are some options still available whilst we still have European subsidies, and there are some options going forward which the government are looking at for supporting farmers once they're up and running, and potentially for diversification as well. When you're buying a farm, at the beginning of it, you don't actually have to state what you're going to be doing with the farm. It's entirely up to you for the type of farming you wish to do. For planning your business, but there are possibly some planning constraints. So it's very important that if you're looking to buy an established farm, if there's any planning constraints on the use of any buildings, for example, a dairy unit will have planning permission to be a dairy unit, and you may not be able to use it for an alternative farming purpose. Also, buildings might have been converted for commercial use in the meantime, which were cowsheds originally. Perhaps have now been given commercial use such as storage or equestrian use, and then you'd have to look carefully at the planning position as to whether you have to convert them back for agriculture, which sounds a little strange if you're buying a farm, but you might actually have to get the planning to convert it back again. So there's not many constraints on actually what you can do with your farm practical purposes, but planning is a key thing to look at. Tax position when you're buying a farm, there are several points to look at. On the actual purchase of the farm, one of the main taxes to think about is stamp duty land tax, because that will be payable on the value of the farm, and it's payable at present within 30 days of completion or the effective completion of the purchase. That can be taxed at different rates depending on the structure of the farm purchase and the buildings that are on it, and for example how many houses or cottages are there. That's an upfront cost, so it has to be factored into your finances when you're planning your purchase. You also need to look at the VAT position. Some farms you will have to actually pay VAT on top of the purchase price depending on the tax position of the current owner. Then you have to think about VAT going forwards. You're either selling some of the land on, or you're going to actually rent a building or some land out, whether you have to charge VAT on the rent. Some people, when they're actually purchasing a farm, are looking at it from a tax position of having sold some assets previously. So you may also need advice on your capital gains tax position and whether there are any tax reliefs available to you in connection with your purchase, because the structure of your purchase then has to fit in with the regime to be able to claim that relief.